The South Carolina Hall of Fame was founded in Myrtle Beach in 1973 to recognize and honor contemporary and past citizens who have made outstanding contributions to South Carolina's heritage, history, and progress.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Familiar words to a familiar hymn, known through generations, put to music by a South Carolinian named William Singing Billy Walker. William Walker was born in 1809 in Martin's Mills, located near the town of Cross Keys, South Carolina, which is located in Union County.
Many people did not realize that he was from Union County, and his parents were members at various times of two of the oldest churches in the county. First of all, at the time of his birth, they were members at Paget's Creek, and then when he was about a year old, they moved their membership over to Lower Fair Forest. He left here when he was an older teenager, probably about 17 years of age. Music has always been a very important part of worship in Union County. In fact, Union County is named for a church.
Despite having no formal education in music, Walker traveled through rural areas to schools and churches, becoming a noted song leader and singing school teacher, teaching Anglo folk hymns passed down for generations. Music historians say William Walker saved what is called by some the people's music.
He is the person who saved the people's music. He was an authority on the Appalachian Highland tradition, and he knew so many people who sang that kind of music. And he realized it was beautiful and might not survive different changes in instrumentation and other things. And so he determined to write those down and make them available. It was popular in his lifetime, but now, 150 years later, we have a remarkable collection of these folk spirituals.
Much of that collection is housed in William Walker's Southern Harmony and Musical Companion, which was very popular for the time period.
He sold 600,000 copies of his book at a time when the country was only populated by about 23 million people. I hate to do math on camera, but if you put that out to today's 300 million or so, that would be a book of roughly 8 million copies. And imagine if somebody could walk out on the stage and say, today I just sold 8 million copies of my book.
One of William Walker's songbooks found its way into the library of Dr. Harry Eskew.
So that got my curiosity, and I wondered just who was he and what was his importance. And that led to looking at books in the library and eventually to a master's thesis and further study of this man. He was potentially the greatest musician South Carolina has ever produced in terms of his total impact.
As a young man, Walker became widely known throughout the Carolinas as Singing Billy.
William Walker is a very common name, and the story goes that there were several different William Walkers in the neighborhood, and they were called by different names depending on what they did for a living. And so Singing Billy was natural for this William Walker.
The type of singing popularized by William Walker is called shape note singing. Shape notes are a form of musical notation designed to teach music to people without formal music training.
Shape notes are a system that is a shortcut to learning how to read music. If you know the shape of the note, you don't have to learn the lines and spaces of the musical staff, and you don't have to learn the key, because the shapes give you the full tone. Triangle is fa, rounded is sol, rectangular is la, and diamond-shaped is mi. And the scale was the one that came before our do-re-mi scale. It was fa, sol, la, mi, fa, mi, la, so, fa, And once people learned this, they could read music more quickly.
Walker published Southern Harmony in 1835 when he was just 26 years old. In this book, the words of the well-known hymn, Amazing Grace, and the tune, New Britain, were combined and published together for the first time.
The words to Amazing Grace had been around for a long time, but it's William Walker who put the tune that we know for Amazing Grace with those words for the first time in the Southern Harmony, and it took off in popularity after that.
Walker was the one who matched that text and tune together. That was the genius of it. And once he did that, that became the established tune for Amazing Grace.
It's really America's most beloved song. I can hardly think of any situation of either national grief or even personal grief where that's not at least on the short list of songs that are considered not just for individuals but for entire groups of society, including our country.
Walker married, fathered 10 children, became a prominent supporter of Wofford College, and owned a bookstore in Spartanburg. In 1867, Walker published another hymn book entitled Christian Harmony. Both Southern Harmony and Christian Harmony are still in use today.
He is more important than a lot of people realize. He took down in music notation folk songs of America for the first time. He was taking down camp meeting songs that had been sung for 30 or 40 years, and spiritual songs, both white spirituals and black spirituals, were incorporated into the Southern Harmony, and that's very important. The Southern Harmony also had the first published music by an American woman composer in it. So this is all very, very important that William Walker actually compiled this book.
William Walker died on September 24, 1875, in Spartanburg, South Carolina. He is buried in Magnolia Cemetery. Walker always placed the letters A.S.H. after his signature, which stands for Author of Southern Harmony.
In William Walker, we have a South Carolinian who spread a tradition that's known in every state, in provinces of Canada, and throughout the English-speaking world, because practically every weekend there'll be a singing somewhere using this very same tradition.
The remarkable thing about William Walker's music is that it's timeless, and that's because it touches a chord in most Christians, regardless of whether they're liturgical or evangelical or what kind of worship style they follow. If you look in your hymnal when you get ready to sing, you'll look down and see Southern Harmony or William Walker.